I'm here live in downtown Los Angeles where protesters are rallying against the construction of the North Dakota Access Pipeline. I'll have more coming up.
More than 100,000 people are allowed to return home even though a Northern California dam is not yet repaired.
And middle school students show their activism and respond to President Trump's executive order on immigration.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Dakota Access Pipeline protesters are celebrating Valentine's Day in an unusual way. Good evening, I'm Juliette Muir.
And I'm Brad Stryker. Activists are in downtown Los Angeles right now to protest the pipeline. Annenberg Media's Rachel Ramos is there.
I'm here in downtown Los Angeles on Wilshire Boulevard where protesters are standing in solidarity against the construction of the North Dakota Access Pipeline. Now, protesters tell me that the $3.8 billion project threatens water supply and the sacred sites of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Now, as you can see behind me, protesters have actually blocked off the streets of Francisco and Wilshire Boulevard. Police have arrived on scene just moments ago, and even though the construction is happening hundreds of thousands of miles away, protesters tell me that this is an important issue here in Los Angeles. Now I'm standing here with one of those protesters, Courage. Courage, can you tell me why is it that you're here today?
I'm here standing in solidarity with these brave men and women. We're here practicing some old-fashioned, patriotic, peaceful civil disobedience, letting the Army Corps know that we do not stand for their potentially illegal decision to grant the easement to drill under the Missouri River for the Dakota Access Pipeline. When you, by canceling the environmental statement, impact statement, you have to give reason for why, and why exactly was so important in December and all of a sudden it's not. There's something very shady about that, and we are here calling them out on it, saying that this is not fair to the indigenous peoples involved, to the Standing Rock Sioux Nation, and that the Dakota Access Pipeline and the fight to stop it is not over.
Well, thank you very much, Courage. And as of now, the protests have remained peaceful. There are no arrests, and organizers tell me that they are planning on having more protests within the upcoming month. That's all I have at this time. For now, live from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rachel Ramos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Rachel. Up in Northern California, the mandatory evacuation notice has been lifted for those who live in communities below the Oroville Dam. The Sheriff's Office is now working on a plan for those displaced. More than 100,000 people were ordered to evacuate are making their way back home as officials hurry to repair the damage caused by the water.
Heavy rain is headed to Los Angeles, and that has many eyes on the safety of our own dams. I looked into what steps the Department of Public Works is taking to ensure residents will be safe. These are dramatic images of the Oroville Dam's compromised spillway that forced more than 180,000 residents to leave their homes. To prevent a similar disaster from happening here in LA, Supervisor Catherine Barger is asking for an evaluation of the safety of local dams.
We therefore move that the Board of Supervisors direct the Department of Public Works to report back to the board in 30 days on the status of the dam safety program.
But 30 days may not be enough. With more rain expected this weekend, LA residents could face an immediate threat.
If we get significant rainfall, that we would expect the spillway water to flow over the spillway on Devil's Gate and make its way into the Arroyo Seco.
The Devil's Gate Dam in Pasadena is filled with sediment from the 2009 wildfires. That means the dam doesn't have as much room to hold water. Some nearby residents are worried.
If we can't handle the rainfall that has happened thus far and we're expecting more rain, that's very concerning.
I'm concerned. A lot of people are going to have a lot of issues.
But a spokesman from the LA County Department of Public Works says they keep a close watch on the dam. Tell me how often the Department of Public Works is performing safety inspections on the Devil's Gate Dam.
We perform annual safety inspections. From a maintenance perspective, the dam is inspected every day.
But many of the dams here in Los Angeles are fairly old. Devil's Gate Dam behind me, for example, was built just about 100 years ago.
With that age come issues, maintenance issues. It's systems that we have to monitor perhaps more closely than before, look at upgrading, redesigning, and sometimes even rebuilding.
Spencer says the department makes necessary improvements, and that means residents have nothing to worry about.
The dam as it is absolutely operating the way that it's designed to do.
The LA Board of Supervisors today unanimously passed the motion to look at the safety of dams in the county. The Department of Public Works will now have 30 days to issue a report.
More than 750,000 undocumented students are able to attend high school and college because of a federal program introduced under the Obama administration.
It protects young adults who came to the U.S. when they were young. International reporter Barbara Estrada joins us with one of those students.
Thanks, Brad. Yaelin Garcia is a first-generation college student and is in her first year at USC. She's lived in California ever since she was 3 years old. Thank you, Yaelin, for joining us. I want to start off with, under the Obama administration, the people like you have been protected, and since President Trump has been in office, there's been tons of talks of deporting people. Just a couple of days ago, hundreds have been deported. So what is your reaction to all of this?
Well, as a student studying under DACA and receiving aid from the state and stuff, it's pretty scary knowing that if Trump does anything to remove DACA from the students, I won't be able to attend the school anymore because I won't have the funds necessary to attend.
And what are you most afraid of?
Well, from the deportations and stuff, I'm scared that these will spread to other cities, and I'm really scared of that maybe my parents, I may lose my parents, and there's nothing that I can do about it.
I know that within the Trump administration, there has been talks of removing DACA and removing DAPA, and DACA is something that you benefit from. So are you and your family prepared for something like that to happen?
We haven't really thought about what may happen to us because we're kind of hoping that this situation will get better as time passes by. But if anything does happen, we have family that can help, and we have other resources that hopefully will help us.
And those family members are here in the United States or back in Mexico?
Here in the United States.
Okay. And I guess my last question to you would be, your siblings, they were born here in the United States, so they're considered American citizens. Yes. You have a brother and a...
I have two younger brothers and a younger sister.
And with them being American citizens and you being a citizen of Mexico, right? And your parents as well, given the nature of your family, how will that work? In the situation, let's say you and your family were to separate.
Well, I think if my parents were to get deported, I would have to take care of my brothers and sisters. Maybe, I would have to move back to my hometown of Santa Ana, take care of my brothers and sisters, maybe with the help of aunts and uncles.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Yaelin, for sharing your story. USG voted to make the campus a sanctuary. So far, the university has said it is committed to supporting all members of our church and family.
President Trump asked for Michael Flynn's resignation as National Security Advisor. Trump says he lost trust in Flynn after he misled Vice President Mike Pence over calls with the Russian ambassador. Leaders of both parties reacted to the news.
National security is perhaps the most important function or responsibility a president has. And I think the president made the right decision to ask for his resignation.
He was not fired because he lied. He was fired because he just wasn't a good enough liar. They were okay with lying to the American people. It's only when they got caught that someone had to pay the price.
3 decorated officers are being considered for the NSA role. David Petraeus is a retired 4-star Army officer and USC professor. Robert Harward is a retired vice admiral, and Keith Kellogg is a former 3-star lieutenant. Kellogg was appointed temporarily to the position after Flynn resigned.
Some local middle schoolers had a hands-on lesson today in political activism. Sequoia middle schoolers aren't old enough to vote yet, but they want to make sure Pasadena City Hall hears their voices loud and clear. The kids protested Donald Trump's executive order banning travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries, even though it has been struck down by a federal court.
We're marching because we believe that the executive order was unjust.
I don't think it's fair. We're all human.
After they marched, students gave a speech to a city leader.
I hope this is the beginning of your kind of activism and thinking about what role you play.
Their teachers focused on the election and the results in class.
A lot of the kids had already heard about the executive order. We thought it would be valuable to discuss it as a piece of text and as a piece of mathematical information.
There are people who feel like America is a place where they can be safe, and if they come and they're just denied entry, it'd be like really bad.
These kids are young, but they definitely know their stuff. These 5th and 6th graders use their time in math class to figure out how many Muslims are involved in U.S. terrorist attacks. Then they use this information to form their own opinions about the travel ban.
Out of 3 million Muslims, only 0.0008%, or 23 of them, were associated with terrorist activities in the U.S.
Usually it's like adults who get to have like their voice heard, but we want to show that kids care about the problems.
And parents supported their early political activity.
We're empowering the next generation to do what's right and to not give up.
The students say they're going to continue to fight for equality, even though they can't vote until 2025. Coming up, bullying is still a very real problem for students in Los Angeles.
Activists used song and dance this Valentine's Day to raise awareness about violence against women.
And we'll show you how looking at failed relationships can bring you closer to your partner.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
The activist group 1 Billion Rising gathered this Valentine's Day to spread awareness about violence against women. Activists around the world danced to the song Break the Chain to draw attention to the problem of violence against women. Here in LA, members of 1 Billion Rising and V-Day also showed how music and dance can create a powerful voice.
A lot of people feel silenced to talk about issues, especially concerning violence against women and sexual assault. And by having a big community come together and rise and say, look, it's okay to speak out, it's good, we want to talk about this stuff, hopefully they leave empowered to not only speak up themselves, but also do something to create change.
The World Health Organization says that 1 out of every 3 women will be the victim of sexual assault. Supporters of the movement say this is not just a women's issue, it affects everyone.
A new survey conducted by the LA Unified School District revealed many elementary and high school students have experienced bullying. The study found 1 in 5 high school students in LA schools have been bullied, as well as 1 in every 4 elementary students. The study also found that boys are being bullied more in high school than girls. Additionally, the survey concluded that 5% of kids were bullied at school, while more than 1/3 were taking part in cyberbullying. USC students weighed in on their own experiences with bullying and why they think it's a big problem.
It's oftentimes not a physical bullying. I mean, I never pushed up against a locker in that sense, but it's oftentimes just sort of groups form and cliques forming and then just kind of just being mean to certain kids. I definitely had been on the end of that.
Luckily I was never bullied in high school, but I witnessed bullying.
I had a different experience in high school and I never had that, but it's kind of disheartening to hear that especially when LA public schools have such a high rate of bullying.
The report emphasizes the need for school faculty to be trained to educate students about bullying and prevention.
All right, now I feel like we were saying this about 2 weeks ago, but we've had a nice little bout of sunshine, but unfortunately it looks like the rain is coming back.
I know I'm already getting a bit scared, but let's see what Amin has to say about what we're looking at for the rest of the week.
Yes, guys. Well, so far for today, it has been warm and sunny, and it's lovely weather for Valentine's Day. And currently we're looking at 62 degrees. So if you're planning to go out with your date tonight, it's going to be a good night. And so for tomorrow, when we look at the weather tomorrow at Big Bear, we're looking at 57 degrees. And a little farther away from the mountain areas, we're going to have high 70s. And now going from the mountain to the coast, we're looking at 70 degrees at Malibu. And also in some inland area, we're looking at high 70s. So closer to home, we're looking at 78 degrees at USC and 71 degrees at LAX. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. We're expecting a wet week ahead, so tomorrow is probably going to be the only day you'll be enjoying some sun, because Thursday through Sunday, it's very likely to be raining, and especially on Friday. And while couples are enjoying the warm and sunny Valentine's Day in Los Angeles, our friends in Houston, Texas have some messes to clean up after a few tornadoes hit the area in the morning. Damages and injuries are reported in Fairchild and Rosenberg. A staff at Sam Houston State University says they're lucky there is no damage there, but students got drenched on their way to class. Well, there are some also forecasts that there will be some more thunderstorm in Texas, so let's hope it's not going to cause so much damage like today.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I mean, here I was complaining about a little bit of rain coming up this weekend.
Well, guys, it's Valentine's Day, so let's send a little love down to Texas, okay?
All right. This Valentine's Day, many couples have reservations at hotels or romantic restaurants. But as Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan shows us, there's a new, rather unlikely date spot in town.
They have something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. But the wedding bells aren't ringing here. This is the Museum of Broken Relationships.
Different types of relationships, not just necessarily romantic, with family, friends, businesses, churches, places.
It's a place where lost love lives on through donated objects that used to mean so much.
It's like a funeral for a relationship almost. It's like a ritual, like you're laying to rest or you're passing on this object and this story to us.
And those objects can get a little unusual.
A toothpaste tube, some tickets from the 1968 Mexico Olympics, and broken phones. I had more than one submission of belly button lint, which was surprising.
There's a wooden spoon and a Peter Pan doll, even an old-fashioned coffee grinder. But the most unusual part of the Museum of Broken Relationships may not be the objects, but the people who come here.
It was her idea.
Her idea to come here on a date.
I thought it would be actually really cool.
I don't think it's bad luck. I think it's just really interesting. It's a new perspective that I've never seen before.
And Hyde says that couples like them who come in for that new perspective often leave a little closer.
About a quarter of the way through, they're holding hands, and then it's arms, and then it's making out. I get a lot of kissing.
For a lot of couples, like Lejen and Sina, they hope the day never comes when they have to make a donation to this museum. In Hollywood, for Annenberg Media, I'm Cole Sullivan.
All right, now I know that it's Valentine's Day today, but our women's tennis team is showing no love on the courts this week as we head into rivalry week.
Absolutely. Now let's see what Terrence has to say about how the teams are shaping up.
Thanks, guys. The women of Troy are set to battle their crosstown rival. We will hear from one of the players on how they're preparing for the challenge. The men's swim team will finish its season Saturday. We talked to one of the seniors who feels bittersweet about the upcoming meet. And baseball season is just a few days away. When we come back, our sports correspondent Nathan Desai will tell us about some key players to watch out for.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to ATVN. The USC women's tennis team will look to serve their crosstown rival UCLA in a battle of top-ranked opponents this Saturday. The women of Troy turned in a dominant performance in their last match, sweeping San Diego State 7-0. However, they haven't played a tennis match since February 1st. Junior Madison Westby says the team used the extended break to their full advantage.
Last 2 weeks we've really amped up our fitness, just trying to get in really good shape for the rest of the season because, you know, whenever you're having matches every weekend, you can't afford to be sore. So we've been okay with having that issue this past week. Worked a lot on our doubles. We changed up our doubles lineup, so hopefully that will help. Just really working on our fitness, I think, for the past week and a half.
The 22nd ranked women of Troy will host the 20th ranked Bruins at Mark Stadium this Saturday at noon. The USC men's volleyball team will look to even the score against 6th ranked Stanford on Thursday. The Trojans were swept in 3 sets when the two teams faced off 3 weeks ago, but junior Jordan Rivera says his team is prepared to deliver a better effort this time around.
Up there in Palo Alto, our mentality wasn't where it was supposed to be, but I feel like ever since then, the team has switched the mentality, and now we got the weekend off, and we just got our first practice of the week today. We did pretty well, I believe, and we're just gonna keep on working on the small things that are gonna get us forward to beat Stanford this Thursday.
The Trojans will host the Cardinal at the Galen Center on Thursday at 6 p.m. The USC men's swim team closes out its season with Senior Day against Utah on Saturday. But with all the Valentine's Day love spreading through the air this week, senior Reed Malone has been feeling nostalgic about the reality of swimming in his last meet for the Cardinal in gold.
It's bittersweet, definitely. I mean, it's been an amazing 4 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, as cliche as that sounds. But, it's sad to be done. I'm never going to be on a team like this ever again, I think. So, but it's, I'm going to embrace the moment. It'll be a good time.
The Trojans will host the Utes at the Utangzo Aquatic Center this Saturday at 11 a.m. The USC women's golf swung their way into the records books at the Northrop Grumman Regional Challenge this afternoon. The women of Troy claimed a one-stroke victory by shooting a tournament record 4 over par, but this is the second time USC has won this tournament, their first since 2014. The women of Troy will be back in action on February 27th at the Bruin Wave Invitational. The USC baseball teams open up its season against Coppin State this Saturday. I'm here with my very own Nathan Desai to preview their season. Nathan, thanks for joining you. How are the Trojans looking heading into this year?
Well, Terrence, we all know that the USC baseball team is one of the strongest in the country. You know, you got MLB legends like Mark McGwire and Randy Johnson, who all came out of SC, but USC is coming off a bit of an underwhelming season. You know, 2 years ago, they made it back to the NCAA postseason, but now they're coming off a 500 season. And do you know how many players the Trojans have lost in the offseason?
No.
Dude, 15 players left the team. You can almost make 2 full teams with that many players, you know? But head coach Dan Hubbs is confident that his roster will be ready to play ball this weekend.
You know, we got a lot of new guys this year, and so it'll be a lot of different faces that are in the lineup and on the mound, and it's a chance for guys to get out there and show what they can do. But I think our guys are primed and ready. So our goal is to try and be the best team on Friday, and then we'll worry about Saturday when it comes rather than look at the whole picture.
Well, I know a lot of the guys are gone, but who are some of the key returning studs for the Trojan team?
Well, I'd say the 2 guys you got to keep your eye on are second baseman Frankie Rios and pitcher Brad Wegman. You know, Rios, you're not going to see him hit many balls out of the park, but he has a knack for getting on base. He's a great contact hitter. And then if you look at Wegman, USC lost its top 3 starters from last year's team, and Helms is going to be looking at Wegman to kind of step up and take their spot this season.
So you touched on some of those grizzled veterans, but what are some key fresh faces for the new Trojan roster?
Well, when you talk about the new guys, you got to look at this guy, Blake Sabol. Man, this guy was actually drafted by the Cleveland Indians in 2016, but he chose to actually come to SC and play college ball here instead. And if you look at Matthew Acosta, he's trying to make an impact on both sides of the ball as he looks to make his mark both on the mound and at the plate.
Thank you so much for that, Nathan. Don't forget, opening day will be this Saturday afternoon at Dado Field. And in case you need more incentive to go, the first 500 fans will also be getting free t-shirts. Back to you, Juliet and Brad.
What's the strangest thing you've ever gotten for Valentine's Day?
USC students let us know some of their most memorable Valentine's Day gifts.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. It's like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
The classic Valentine's Day gifts are flowers, chocolate, and a whole lot of love, but some couples have chosen to think outside of the box.
He gave me a big thing of Buffalo Wild Wings chicken wings. Probably a skydiving trip.
This girl gave me 2 Smarties instead of 1, and I took it as a sign that maybe she was interested. So maybe she's trying to spark something, but it was the 5th grade, so I never found out.
Those are some pretty weird things, but what's the strangest thing you've ever gotten, Brad?
You know what? Full disclosure, all cards on the table. I can't remember the last time that I actually got like a legitimate Valentine's Day gift. What about you? Have you had any weird ones?
If I'm going to be completely honest, all my cards on the table too, the last Valentine's Day gift I got was actually from my parents. So.
Well, still, it's that sweet. You know, your parents get you some gift on Valentine's Day if they know that you don't have any other. My parents didn't ever give me some gift on Valentine's Day, so.
You've never gotten a gift from your parents on Valentine's Day?
But why would my parents give me a Valentine's Day gift?
A symbol of their love, in my opinion.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Juliet Muir.
And I'm Brad Striker.